big time free agent acquisition that I really think we should pay attention to. Minnesota. Kyler Murray.
I was gonna get that in just a second, but actually, you know what? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I really think that is there's been too many instances where Minnesota, even in Hall of Fame careers, in the case of Warren Moon, they have been able to jumpstart and give a guy a second lease on life when they brought them to their franchise. And if you don't believe that, just look at the guy who just won a Super Bowl, Sam Darnold. Now, granted, Kyler Murray did not travel the journey that Sam Darnold did. Kyler has been a Pro Bowl. He has been an MVP candidate. It's just a question of how hard is he going to work. Now, look, Kyler, listen. You got the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison is going to be there. There's a lot of questions around T.J. Hockenson and if he's going to be there this year.
Aaron Jones will also still be there.
Aaron Jones will also be there. But I want you to listen close. If there's any opportunity that you have in order to prove yourself and get you another fat contract, it's right now. It's right now. You have the offense. You have the defense. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. It's time. The thing is, when you're heavily criticized, and I know this from experience, when you're heavily criticized because you have a world of ability, it's not because people hate you. So stop calling people hater every time they criticize you. They know what the hell you can do. You not putting your best foot forward or not being the best that you could possibly be, that's an insult to everybody who believes it. I believe that wholeheartedly. Go out there, get your head out of your 4 point of contact, and do your thing. This is your chance. You're going to beat Mike McCarthy. Well, excuse me.
JJ
McCarthy out of that spot. We know you're going to do that. We know it. But what you going to do with it after that? And is this going to be you playing for another contract? Or is this going to be the real you? Can you have a resurgence like a Randall Cunningham back in 1998 when he finally joined that Minnesota Vikings team? Can you have a resurgence like even a Jeff George when he came to Minnesota? He had a couple of brilliant seasons there. Can you have the kind of seasons like Brad Johnson and Rich Gannon before he went on to greener pastures as well out there in Oakland, eligible for the Hall of Fame, by the way, and won the MVP in 2002? Can you have that resurgence? And do you have that type of resilience to pull it out of yourself? Because you have the same tools that they did. They came in, a hell of a lot of weapons, great defense, great offensive line, great defensive scheme, offensive coach. Can you have that resilience? And hell, even if you wanted to, can you become their franchise quarterback for at least the next 6 to 7 years? We want to see what you can do. I want to see what you can do. You're coming from a school that did something that no other school did. Produced back-to-back #1 overall. No school in history has done that, especially at the quarterback position, other than Oklahoma. Can you have her? And if you really need to know how to handle yourself better when you go to another team, call your buddy down there in Tampa Bay and see how he handled himself when he went to Tampa Bay, when he went to Los Angeles, and how he had to refine himself and how he had to retool himself. And look at the things that he's been able to do. Hell, one for the injuries, we might be talking about Baker as the MVP because he got off to one hell of a start. But Kyler, we want to see you do well, man. I want to see you do well. I saw the talent not just at Oklahoma, but in Arizona when you had Cliff Kingsbury calling the shot. Can you be what we all know you can be? Because it'll be a sad day in history when we look back at your career and we say, what a missed opportunity because of the talent and the ability that you had.
Again, no one has ever doubted or questioned Kyler Murray's talent. The knock on Kyler Murray up in between the ears. Kyler Murray's problem have been work ethic and maturity issues. If his work ethic wasn't a question, why would the Arizona Cardinals put that clause in his contract? I hope for Kyler he turns it around in Minnesota. I saw a little bit of his press conference. He grew up as a Vikings fan. He talked about how he was crying or was in tears the game in which Brett Favre threw the interception against New Orleans Saints, the Bounty Gate game. I hope for Kyler he has an opportunity because in Minnesota, in that division, I don't think anyone anticipates Minnesota to win the division, especially with Chicago or Indiana or whatever team they're going to move to. Green Bay's still going to be there, and they struggled last year because of the amount of injuries that they've had. And you look at Minnesota, okay, there's Green Bay, there's Chicago, and Detroit. So with the offense, with Kevin O'Connell into the mix, Kyler, this is the best opportunity for you to get as much knowledge and training. If you want to change the perception of you being uncoachable, this could be it. Now, fortunately for you, you're able to make what $36.8 million off the money in Arizona with the contract you have in Minnesota. So, Kyler, I hope for you maximize on this opportunity. There was only two teams I would have seen Kyler Murray play for, the Vikings or Atlanta. I'm going to get into Tua in just a second. But I hope for Kyler, and again, I am an Oklahoma fan. As Champ mentioned, I am an OU fan. To your point, you mentioned back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, number 1 overall picks. Kyler, look at Sam Darnold. Look how the way he turned around his career in Minnesota. And look where he is now in Seattle with winning a Super Bowl. You mentioned Baker. Look how Baker was in Cleveland to Los Angeles. I'm sorry, Cleveland to Carolina to Los Angeles to where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the importance of coaching. And with Kevin O'Connell, you better make the most out of it with Kevin O'Connell. And you have a target in Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson, as you've often mentioned, Chad, he's as mild-mannered. It's not like any other diva wide receiver.
No.
So if you can't get it together with Justin Jefferson, then essentially, Kyler, what is it going to show? They're going to look at you and they're going to say, you're the problem. Because Justin Jefferson was producing before he had you. He's worked with Sam Darnold. He's worked with J.J. McCarthy. He's worked with Carson Wentz. He's worked with Kirk Cousins. He's worked with other quarterbacks. So, Kyler, this is the best wide receiver you've had since DeAndre Hopkins during your second and your third year in the National Football League. You have an offensive mind like Kevin O'Connell. Hey, study, learn as much as the offense you can. Try to be a good teammate. Try to be a good leader. Try to change the perception about you, Kyler. I like it because I think for coaching reasons, I think Kevin O'Connell will try to do what he can with Kyler Murray. I understand from Sports Guy Talking, shout out to Sports Guy Talking, he doesn't think that Kyler Murray and Kevin O'Connell would be a perfect fit in Minnesota. He suggested that Kyler Murray should be a backup to New Orleans. under Tyler Shue. But at the same time, Kyler Murray doesn't want to see himself as the backup quarterback. He wants to see himself starting right away. But I think in Minnesota, you should be the favorite to win that job. If you can't beat J.J. McCarthy, then hey, and looking back, the Vikings, they made a mistake not only taking J.J. McCarthy in the draft with the 10th overall pick, they moved up in the draft to take him with the 10th overall pick.
Mhm.
So if you're J.J. McCarthy, hey, where are you going to go? Because just like Kyler Murray, you haven't been proven to stay healthy. I hope for Kyler Murray he turns it around in Minnesota, because if he can't turn it around in Minnesota, what's next? BRF.
I don't mind the fit, because I mean, you look at Kevin O'Connell and you look at the way he likes to run his offenses. Like he likes to spread the ball around, which is something Kyler Murray has always been able to thrive in as far as offenses. Like there's never been like one, predominant threat. He likes to spread the ball around. He's going to be able to do that there. You got Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, you have T.J. Hockenson. Aaron Jones is still a good back. He can still catch out the backfield. So he's coming into a situation with a guy like Kevin O'Connell, who I think Kevin O'Connell can really kind of tap into Kyler Murray again and be able to get like maybe not full ceiling, but kind of, remind people of what Kyler was like those first couple of years in Arizona. Kevin O'Connell sees a guy like Kyler who's got speed. I mean, that's your bootlegging, RPOs, play action, just being able to create in structure, out of structure. Kevin O'Connell sees that, and to a certain extent, he's got to be licking his chops a little bit with the prospect of a Kyler Murray in that offense, and especially with his ability to throw the deep ball. I mean, guys like Jordan Addison and especially Justin Jefferson, who thrives on deep balls, who thrives on 50-50 opportunities. Because I still feel like coming into this league year, I still feel Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1 in the National Football League. So having a guy like Kyler Murray who can get him the ball down the field and really, eliminate a lot of the field in like maybe 1 or 2 chunks. I mean, that gives a new element to the Vikings offense that, is really going to help them and really, for the betterment, really make them a better team. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, this is Kyler Murray's opportunity. He's got to take advantage of this, because people are looking at you in a situation like Minnesota. And you said it, PSP. Whether he went to Minnesota, whether he went to Atlanta, you're going into a situation where you're going to have weapons and you're going to have a pretty good offensive coach that you should be able to tap into and be able to kind of like really kind of showcase yourself a little bit. And with Minnesota, you have that with the weapons there. You have to make the most of this opportunity. It was kind of like what Sam Darnold was, last, in his 1 year in Minnesota. You're coming into this situation, best, that was probably Sam Darnold's best offensive situation he had ever been in, and he made the most of it and he took advantage of it. They went 14-3, made the playoffs. I'm not saying the Minnesota Vikings are going to go 14-3. What I am saying is, Kyler, you have to make the most of this. I mean, there's no reason why you can't vastly improve on your last couple of years, really, last year in particular in Arizona. There's no reason for you not to be able to improve this season. I mean, everything around you is a step up. It's an improvement from the defensive side of the ball, the offensive line, as long as everybody's healthy, and the skill position. Everything's an upgrade. You have to make the most of this. You have to take advantage of this opportunity, because who knows if you're going to get another one if you don't make the most of this. Honestly, I wouldn't even worry about the contract. You have to look at this as a way to find yourself again, to go out and really show what you can do. And there's really no reason for you not to be able to with a guy like Kevin O'Connell calling plays, because Kevin O'Connell is going to give you ample opportunities to throw that ball around. Whether it's 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end set, 3 wide receiver sets, Doesn't matter what he's calling. He's going to give you an opportunity to throw that ball. You have to make the most of it. You have to come in, put the work in, study, be ready on any given Sunday. I know we had talked about this whole, he's not a guy that doesn't like to do a lot of studying. You got to trash that. You got to trash that mindset coming into Minnesota. You got to put your best foot forward, because now you're not getting that franchise quarterback money. You're getting that league vet minimum money. So this is no guarantee. You have to make the most of this. If you have a solid 2026, who knows what that can lead to into the future, as far as maybe not necessarily getting a big contract, but a team looking at you, giving you a well-deserved opportunity to be the face of that franchise. Even if it's not resetting the market, something respectable for a guy of your talent. But you have to do this here in Minnesota, where I'm not going to say it's on a silver platform, but he has a really good opportunity with the offensive weapons that he has around him. He's got to make the most of it. He can't worry about the outside noise. He can't worry about the Call of Duty. He can't worry about none of that. You have to make the most of what you're about to step into, and you got to let it ride. You can't really think about much. You got to let it ride. Enjoy yourself, but be smart about it. Because if you could knock this out the park, you have a good year in Minnesota, you're revitalizing your career, and a lot of these people around the league are going to have a little more respect for you. They're going to look at you and say, "Hey, you know what? He was down. He bet on himself. He had a really solid 2026. I'm not ready to commit to him big money, but let's bring him in. Let's give him a 2-3 year deal, decent money. Let's see what he's about." Yeah.
Well,
like I said,
look,
there's really not more to add to that.
Well, look, the one thing he can't really control at the end of the day is his size, because that was one of the major concerns
Mhm.
about Kyler coming out of college. He is such a small QB, and injuries are going to play a role, especially for someone of his size. So he's just going to have to learn how to play smart. He's just going to have to learn how to get rid of the ball quicker. And he's just going to have to go through his reads. And again, that requires him watching film. The reason why I think I'm hard, and again, I don't like being redundant, but again, the reason why I was criticizing Kyler, and I was wrong, like I said, for tagging him in the post, was because I feel like, dude, I am an OU guy. I know what type of talent that you are. Kyler, you have so much potential. And I would hate, and when I hear reports about you not studying, not doing as much homework as you can, I feel like that is a huge disservice, especially for someone who's blessed and as talented as you. When much is given, much is expected. And I hope for you in Minnesota, you just capitalize and maximize this opportunity, because you never know, it may happen again, Kyler. If you put out another bad fourth of film, then guess what? Eventually, the league's going to move on from you. Or you're just going to have to be, at best, a journeyman quarterback. And for a guy coming out of college with that type of ability and projected to be the number 1 overall pick, to your point, champ, imagine the amount of heat and criticism he would receive, and what golden opportunity he would have missed out. So I hope for Kyler, he maximizes this opportunity.